now looking at, again, a slightly harder inequality to solve, purely because the inequality that we're solving has got brackets in. What's the first thing we must do is we must expand the brackets. Just like if it was an equation, that's what we would do. We'd expand those brackets. Everything inside here must be multiplied by 12. 12 times x, 12x. 12 times negative 4, negative 48. Then the inequality sign. Then I'm multiplying this 2x minus 3 by 5. So that's 5 lots of 2x, which is 10x. 5 lots of negative 3, which is negative 15. Right, now I'm back to the equation, the inequality I did before. I've got x's on both sides of my inequality. What must I do? I must bring all the x's onto one side. Which side do you go for? You go for the side that's got the most. 12 here, 10 here. So this is the one that's going to come over onto this side. Notice that it is plus 10x. So in order to bring it onto this side, I must take 10x off this side of the inequality. So I must also take 10x off this side. If I take 10x off this side, I end up with 2x. Not touch that minus 48. My inequality sign is still there. My negative 15 is also still there. It's the plus 10x which come over. Just to remind you, if that was minus 10x and I wanted to bring it over onto this side, remember how we'd bring minus 10x over? You would add 10x because it's minus 10x. In order to make it disappear, okay, I must add 10x to it. It just depends what it is. If it's plus 10x, I would take 10x off. If it was minus 10x, I would add 10x. Now I'm ready to solve this inequality. I'm going to get rid of that minus 48 because it's on the same side as the x. I'm going to get rid of this times by 2. I'm quite happy with that negative 15. It's not on the same side as the x. So how do I get rid of minus 48? I add 48. So I'm doing minus 15 plus 48, which comes to a grand total of 33. And finally, I'm going to get rid of times by 2. And how do I get rid of times by 2? I divide by 2. So x is less than or equal to 33 divided by 2, which comes to a grand total of 16, with 1 left over, which is 16 and a half. So I've got an equal sign here this time. I'm allowed to be 16 and a half. So I could put 16 and a half in there, and I guarantee the left-hand side would exactly equal the right-hand side. Any number less than 16 and a half, okay, the less than sign will come into play. This side will be less than that side. We're now going to look at solving these two inequalities. So similar to the ones that we've done before, but the slight difference this time is we've got fractional inequalities. So if we just have a look at the technique here, we just look at this first one, we're basically going to solve it just like we would solve a fractional equation. So first thing, this number 4 is out of the way already. So we're looking at removing the 5, the plus 2 and the 3, and then we'll be left with the x and the final inequality solution. So first thing, we cannot get at that times by 3 and add 2 because it's all divided by 5. So the first thing we must remove is the divide by 5. How do we remove divide by 5? Well, we do the opposite, which is multiply this side of the inequality by 5. So we end up with 3x plus 2 less than or equal to 4 times 5 is 20. Right, we've now got the 3 and the plus 2 to get rid of. What we're going to do first is get rid of the plus 2. How do we get rid of plus 2? We do the opposite. So the opposite to add 2 is to take away 2. So I end up with 3x less than or equal to 18. And then finally, how do I get rid of times 3? I do the opposite to multiplying by 3, which is divide by 3. So 18 divided by the 3 makes 6. So the solution to this inequality is x must be less than or equal to 6. If we actually just put 6 in, 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20, 20 divided by 5 is 4, and because the inequality sign was less than or equal to, that left-hand side is saying it's equal to 4. If we now move over to this one's slightly different. Okay, remember when we did solving equations, fraction equations, notice that the only thing that's divided by 2 this time is the letter x, not the -5. So when I'm trying to remove the 2 and the -5, the thing to remove first is the -5. How do we remove -5? Well, we would add 5 to the left-hand side of this inequality, so we must add 5 to this side of the inequality. So we end up with x divided by 2 greater than 10 plus the 5 is 15. All I now have got to do is to remove the divide by 2. The opposite to divided by 2 is to times by 2. So I take the 15, multiply it by 2, and I end up with 30. X must be greater than 30. So if I stick a number in which is greater than 30, for example, say 32, 32 divided by 2 is 16, 16 take away 5 is 11, 11 is greater than 10. So I have solved that inequality.